On the news this evening, Rivers women walk out on wife of sole administrator Ibas, demand Governor Fubara's reinstatement. 56-year-old man arrested for defiling teenage girls in Igruta. Federal government summons vice chancellors and others over alleged diversion of student loans. On the foreign scene, Prince Harry seeks reconciliation with royal family after losing court case. I'm Sam Chinedu, and the news continues after the break. Welcome back. Some women in Rivers State today staged a walkout from a Renewed Hope Initiative empowerment held in Port Harcourt by the Office of the First Lady, Mrs. Remi Tinubu. The event took an unexpected turn when the wife of the administrator of Rivers State, Dr. Theresa Ibas, approached the podium to speak. In a viral online footage, a section of the crowd believed to be supporters of the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara, abruptly stood up and began chanting "We want Sim" before exiting the venue in protest.
We want Sim! We want Sim! We want Sim! We want Sim! This is our state! We want Sim! We don't know Ibas! Tinubu is our president! Tinubu's wife is our best lady! We want Sim! We want Sim!
One of the women who joined the walkout told reporters they were disappointed that the First Lady, Mrs. Tinubu, was not present to address them. Instead, they were met with the administrator's wife, which many perceived as a political slight.
We were told to come out and welcome Her Excellency Senator Remi Tinubu, and we dressed up. See me in my double wrapper. We were so happy to welcome Her Excellency because we are appreciative of her goodwill to us and the empowerment program. We stood up and left because Rivers women, we are not fragile. We have a governor, we love our governor, we support our governor, we have a first lady, and we are just saying one governor at a time, one president at a time. We have a president that we support. We have our mommy of the nation that is empowering women in Rivers State today that we so love and we support.
Moving on. A Labour lawyer, Imawosu, says the Nigeria Labour Congress in Rivers State was right to have stopped representatives of the Rivers State government from speaking at the low-key May Day event held yesterday. Dr. Wosu, a lecturer at the Rivers State University, told our correspondent that if Labour had allowed them to address the workers, they would have contradicted themselves. Dr. Wosu said the government officials were not invited and could not have been given the platform to address workers.
The national body had already informed the Rivers State chapter that they should not celebrate, no fanfare in the celebration. And that is why there was no march past where the governor ordinarily would have come to receive salute, as it were, as was done in other states. So they were not invited. Had you bought into a function of labor without being invited and you want them to make speech, what speech would they make? If they allow them to make speech, will it not amount to labor blowing hot and cold? They were in the right for not to have allowed them to make any speech.
In another development, some civil servants at the Rivers State Secretariat are calling for the speedy fulfillment of the pledge by the sole administrator, retired Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, to acquire additional fuel subsidy palliative buses. Recall that Administrator Ibas, during his May Day broadcast, promised to release funds for the running of the free buses acquired by the Siminalayi Fubara administration and to add additional buses to the fleet. Some civil servants spoke with our correspondent. Some students also appealed for the availability of the free buses on campuses of various tertiary institutions in Rivers State. Meanwhile, a Port Harcourt-based lawyer, Otonye Amakri, is asking organized labor to be realistic in their demands. Ms. Amakri gave the advice while reacting to the demand for an upward review of salary among other demands made by labor during their May Day celebration yesterday. He spoke with correspondent Soibi Oruwari.
No worker in this world is allowed to dictate to his employer what to pay to him. Every worker, upon being taken into service, has what we call condition of service. And it is a contract that the worker signs with the employer. No third party intervenes. Nigeria Labour Congress is not an employee. So it has no real authority to dictate to an employer how much he can pay to his worker. They are what we call a pressure group. And all they will do is not by giving conditions and dictating, is by negotiation.
He also explained why the government, including private employees, may not be able to meet the demands.
Because the government runs on budget, and budget is based on taxpayers' money. If the government says, I'm going to spend 1 billion this year, and in the course of the year, the workers come to say, pay us salaries that will make that amount to be more than 1 billion, then the government must go to assembly lawmakers for supplementary budget. What if there are no resources to be made available for what the supplementary budget will provide? That means going to borrow. Even as it is government still has to operate within not profitability now, but maintainability of any policy arrived at.
In other news, some stakeholders have been reacting to suggestions that the Ogoni ethnic group may produce the next governor of Rivers State in 2027, a move some believe is tied to plans for the resumption of oil production in Ogoni land. Speaking with correspondent Soibi Oruwari on this, a former House of Representatives candidate, Livingston Membere, advised Ogonis not to push such an agenda. He warned that it could upset other ethnic groups in the state.
So even if we have to use oil activities as a yardstick for the production of the governorship come 2027, I think the Ogoni people will come last. If they say that they have not produced governor and they should be one of the groups that should be considered, that one is even more reasonable. If they put forward the argument that they are resuming oil and gas activities in Ogoni land, so therefore come 2027, Rivers State should consider Ogoni people to become the governor of Rivers State. Then it means they have to go back because others have made sacrifice while they locked out their oil resources. It means that the Ogoni will wait for others that did not lock out their oil resources.
Mr. Membere also said many people in Rivers State are ready to reject political godfatherism in the 2027 elections.
So the insinuation that 2 or 3 persons will decide who becomes the governor of Rivers State, they may try, yes, but the kind of resistance that will face godfatherism in Rivers State, Rivers people will not allow that. If any Ogoni man feels he is qualified to be the governor of Rivers State, the first thing he shouldn't do is not even to mention the oil and gas thing. He should present his credentials and his programs. Allow not even the president to decide who will be our governor, so that they will not come and suspend our governor at will. So we are watching. I won't be tied to that person that will say, this is my godfather.
Also, Stephen Degbara, the spokesperson of Ogoni Democratic Link, said the demand for an Ogoni governor in 2027 has been a long-standing goal of the people.
Every Ogoni believes in the document called the Ogoni Bill of Rights. Part of the Ogoni Bill of Rights also includes the justice for political fairness for our people. What we are asking as an Ogoni people for governorship is as a result of the cheating of the years past. So that's where the quest for political inclusion comes in. We are not completely saying that it is a condition that we must be given an Ogoni governor before oil can be taken. That we are also requesting for political participation, political justice for our people. We need to be part of the process of governance.
However, he stressed that restarting oil production in Ogoni land should not depend on whether an Ogoni becomes governor or not.
it justifies that quest because the people will be confident. There must be some confidence building measures. The egos have been bruised, people have been injured, people have died, and we require some confidence building measures to enable our people have this welcoming for oil resumption of activities in Ogoni land. And because they so cheated law, politically we have been part of the process. Politically and socially and otherwise have not been part of that process. Having us an opportunity to govern this, having us opportunity to contribute the conversations of the distribution will be a confidence building measure.
On his part, former Labour Party spokesperson in Rivers State, Gogo Wellington, said tying the 2027 governorship to oil production is a bad idea.
Every ethnic nationality in Rivers State is entitled to lay their claim to the contest for the gubernatorial seat of the governor of Rivers State. However, solely pinning the qualification of the Ogoni ethnic nationality on the issue of resumption or proposed resumption of oil activities in Ogoni will be unfair to many other ethnic nationalities who oil production has been going on in their localities for decades now, and they haven't also been able to lay claim to that seat.
He also accused politicians from the area of pushing this narrative for their own interest.
This discussion will be the handiwork of politicians, maybe from that extraction, because we believe the very foundation of the issue of stopping of oil exploration in Ogoni had nothing to do with political reasons. It was about the issue of environmental degradation in the Ogoni axis. To that effect, a lot of redress has been done by way of the Ogoni cleanup that has been ongoing for some years now. So I would say that those pushing this agenda are not being fair to even the Ogoni people.
Still to come, federal government summons vice chancellors and others over alleged diversion of student loans. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The Rivers State response team on violence against women and children have arrested the 56-year-old man for allegedly defiling his neighbor's 2 children around the greater axis of Ikwerre local government area. Head of Intervention Newsmen during the team's meeting with the family of the children in Port Harcourt said the suspect, who has already confessed to committing the crime, was arrested with the support of local vigilante in the area and handed over to the police for prosecution.
Our team have successfully arrested one Mr. Sunday Ezekiel, a caretaker who have defiled two underage daughters of his tenant at the greater area of Port Harcourt. The suspect, who already confessed to committing the crime, was arrested with the support of the local vigilante in the area and handed over to the police. And this suspect must face the law to serve as a deterrent to others. Parents are advised to be close to their children and always keep watch on people around their domain and communities. Perpetrator.
On her part, Head of Programs, Women's Rights and Counter Trafficking at the Center for Justice, Empowerment and Development, Cynthia Oku, recounted the disturbing condition in which the teenage girl was brought to their office by her father. She commended the courage of concerned neighbors who raised the alarm after witnessing the assault of the 14-year-old in a nearby bush within the community. The suspect, who admitted to repeatedly committing the act with children aged 8 and 14, claimed he was misled by the devil. Meanwhile, there have been reports that some of his family members are threatening the children's father to drop the case, a move strongly condemned by the response team. The Lagos High Court has convicted and sentenced to death a bus rapid transit BRT driver, Andrew Ominikoro, for the murder of a 22-year-old fashion designer, Bamiche Ayawola. In a judgment that lasted over 2.5 hours, Justice Serifat Sonaike held that the prosecution, the Lagos State government, successfully proved beyond reasonable doubt that a defendant committed the offense. The court also convicted the defendant for the rape of a 29-year-old lady, Nneka Mary Jane Ozezulu. The federal government has summoned vice-chancellors of some schools and the managing director of Nigeria Education Loan Fund, NELFund, over alleged diversion of funds meant for the student loan scheme. In a statement by its Director, Press and Public Relations, Bariowo Folashade, the Ministry of Education said the meeting will aim to thoroughly investigate the matter, ensure full accountability, and reaffirm the ministry's zero-tolerance policy towards financial malpractice in the education sector. The news continues after the break.
Chinas Amosu Ministries and the Royal Church International specially invite you to
Back on the international scene, the Duke of Sussex says he wants reconciliation with the rest of the royal family in an emotional interview in which he said he was devastated about losing a legal challenge over his security in the UK. Speaking in a BBC interview, Prince Harry said he was cut off from his father, King Charles. He said his father had not been speaking to him and that he did not know how long the king had left to live. Prince Harry spoke to the BBC after losing an appeal over the levels of security he and his family are entitled to while in the UK. On the news this evening, you heard some Rivers women today walked out on the wife of the sole administrator and demanded Governor Fubara's reinstatement. A 56-year-old man had been arrested for defiling teenage girls in Igruta, Ikwe local government area. The federal government has summoned vice-chancellors and others over alleged diversion of funds meant for student loan scheme. On the foreign scene, Prince Harry is seeking reconciliation with the royal family after losing a court case. The news was edited by Onyekachi Wonsu. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Sam Chinedu. Thanks for listening.